Hello everyone, this is Captain Joel and welcome to my latest Marvel Puzzle Quest video. In this video we're going to be talking about the newest 4-star character added to the game, Gwenpool. She was added for the anniversary, so she's kind of half joke character, half serious, because her skills are definitely much more useful than Devil Dino or even Howard the Duck, but she's really very tricky to properly show in action. So this video is going to be a little bit different than some of my other ones. Um, so I'll start off with the basics. Um, so first off, she's a pretty new character to the Marvel Universe. I haven't even read her comic yet. I think that she just came out a couple months ago. Kind of seems like some sort of cross between, I don't know, Spider-Gwen and Deadpool, I guess. I don't know. So now this is a story all about how my life got put into a Marvel game. Close enough, but also a lie. That story is a big secret. Very hush-hush. Super mystery number one. Anyhow, have you seen this game? Paradise Found, am I right? Everyone is here. Almost everyone. I touched Kamala Khan's here. There are a few exceedingly exasperating exceptions. I mean, I'll probably live, if you don't kill me. Can you even do that in this game? Don't kill me. Bye! So, the unbelievable Gwen Poole. Her name is actually Gwen Poole with an E at the end. So, she's a very hard character to describe. So first off, her health is among the lowest. I think her base health is about the same as Wolverine X-Force in the 4-star range, and of course Professor X has a little bit less health even than her. But otherwise, she has some of the lowest health in the 4-star world, which is kind of why her skills make her somewhat more useful, though, because she also has probably the most useful projectile creation in the 4-star world as well. But first, we're going to start off with explaining her. So she's a purple, black, green character. It's kind of funny how many purple-green characters there are. Originally, they were going to make the black passive, I think, but they changed in the final version. So let me just explain why she's so complicated. So her purple power, it costs 9 purple AP. So I'll read the description and explain. You know what would be really useful here? Some good old-fashioned cheat codes. I know how to open the menu, but you're on your own for the rest. I mean, this game has a wiki, right? You'll figure it out. So essentially what happens is when you use this skill, a little keypad pops up that has 9 buttons. I guess you can kind of, there's no numbers on them, there's pictures, but for the sake of being able to actually use all of the skills on your own, it's helpful to be able to just write down the numbers like it's a phone keypad. So you can label them 1 through 9. So when you use this skill, there's dozens, well, I don't know about dozens, probably 2 dozen, maybe 3 dozen, of different effects that you can activate. Ranging from destroying tiles, you can pretty much choose to destroy any tile you want, whether it be a row, a column, corners, as well as dealing some damage. You can also do funny cheat codes, which basically just do things like make Gwenpool's head bigger, changing the name of one of the skills descriptions to say pink instead of purple, and other goofy stuff like that. It's really not clear exactly what each one of the codes is yet, because the developers have only released a couple so far themselves, so it's kind of left to the players to figure them out. And while the forum people have discovered a few already, there's still a lot more combinations to try out. It's also not fully clear yet if it matters which order you hit the codes in, but we're actually going to do some experimenting right now with this skill. So I'm going to try to show you as many of them as possible, so you're going to have to hang tight as we go through this. Okay, so it looks a little bit different on your phone. It'll actually be in the middle of the screen, but if you're playing on Steam, it looks like this. So essentially you have this, she says, I found the dev console. Make good choices. So you have 9 different buttons. So I'm going to number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in theory, you just hit 3 different numbers and something will happen. I don't think it matters what order you hit it in, because as you can tell, they are lit up. So I think that does cut down somewhat on the number of possible combinations, since it's not like you can hit the same number 3 times in a row. So somebody can try to do the math and see if you have 9 numbers and you can hit 3, but none of them can be repeated, how many combinations are possible. So once we understand that, then we can get down to what the actual different skills are. So as of right now, there's, for serious ones, there's destroying columns, destroying rows, destroying corners, removing special tiles, and other tile destruction, which means random. So let's just, for simplicity's sake, look at destroying a column. So you can pick which column you want destroyed. There's 9 different columns. There's 8 different columns. As you can tell, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as well as 8 different rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then in addition to that, there's also random, which means it'll destroy a random row or it'll destroy a random column. So let's see what happens when I'll just show you destroying a column. So first off, here are the codes that are known for destroying columns. If you want to destroy the first column, you hit 2, 4, 9. If you want to destroy the second column, you hit 1, 5, 6. If you want to destroy the third column, 1, 2, 3. If you want to destroy the fourth column, 2, 7, 8. If you want to destroy the fifth column, it's 5, 6, 9. If you want to destroy the sixth column, it's 5, 8, 9. If you want to destroy the seventh column, it's 1, 3, 7. And if you want to destroy the eighth column, it's 2, 7, 9. And lastly, to destroy a random column, it's 6, 7, 9. I'm not sure why you would actually want to ever destroy a random column, though, but just so you know, and take into account when the AI is playing for you on defense, they're not going to obviously pick this number based on any logic. It's probably just going to be a random skill. So you can't really count on her to do what you want on defense. But this is still a very powerful skill on offense, to have targeted tile destruction like this. It's kind of like Cyclops' skill, except it doesn't do as much damage. But it's still, pretty useful. So I'm going to go over to the destroying columns next. But first, let me just show you what it looks like in action. So I'm going to destroy the fourth column right here. So remember, that's 2, 7, 8. So 2, 7, 8. That did 5,648 damage. Now, I'm curious if that damage is because of the fact that it does that same damage no matter what, or if it's because of the getting damage based on, say, having Phoenix on the team with her match damage. So we're going to destroy another column soon and see about the next damage amount. Okay, now we've destroyed a column, so let's destroy a row. So just a reminder of how much damage the last one did. It did 5,648 damage. Now, if it does the same amount of damage, we'll know that the damage has nothing to do with the tiles destroyed. If it does a different amount of damage, then we will know that the damage is based based on the tiles themselves. Meaning, you want to, for example, if you have a 5-star on your team, you want to make sure you destroy their colors the most. another thing to consider about this skill is that you want to destroy this, what they call hero gun. What is this gun doing on the board? Surely it will become important later. So that's one of Gwenpool's other skills, and you will want to destroy that gun to activate her other skill. So we'll talk about that a bit more later, but you do want to try to target that so you can use her other skill. So let's destroy a row. So the rows, again, there's 8 rows and 1 random row destroying feature. So for destroying the first row, the code is 469. The second row is 183. The third row is 178. The fourth row is 136. The fifth row is 124. The sixth row is 246. The seventh row is 189. The eighth row is 148. To destroy a random row is 149. So right now, we want to destroy the fifth row to get rid of that gun. So that's going to be 124. 5, 6, 4, 8, the exact same amount of damage as the first time we used this skill, which, unless some incredibly lucky randomness happened to make the exact same tile setup show up on that row as the last time when we destroyed the column, I find that very unlikely. So it seems to me that it's doing a set amount of damage. Take into account this is at 5 covers in purple. So we're going to take a look and see what happens if we have only 4 or 3 covers in purple. But I would guess that it's still going to destroy the column regardless of how many covers you have. Okay, now we're going to look at destroying corners. So we already know that she does the same amount of damage regardless of which tiles are destroyed. So let's look at destroying the corners now. So there's top left, top right, bottom left, and random. So top left is 256, top right is 169, bottom right 568, bottom left 245, random is 356. So I'm not sure why you want to just destroy a corner, because it doesn't seem quite as useful, but let's take a look. Let's try to destroy the top right corner so that we can get rid of one less charge tile so Black Bolt won't be able to get off a move. So that would be 169. Huh, that only did 2,976 damage. So that is interesting because I thought that it would do the same amount of damage as before. Now I'm not quite sure what to think. Huh. So then there's random tile to destruction, which is 349. So that appeared to destroy 7 tiles. It's a bit tricky to tell, but I think it destroyed 7 tiles. And it appears to have done the same amount of damage as the destroyed rows and destroyed columns. It's kind of interesting that for some reason the corners would be weaker. I'm not sure why. Huh. I'm wondering why it would be weaker. Well, let's destroy green goblins. Nah, wait, let's do random again, because I'm curious if we do random tile destruction, if it will destroy the same number. So that was 349. 349. So it does appear to have destroyed the same number of tiles as before. So even though it's randomly destroying tiles, it's destroying the same number. Now, I'll have another time on a match when I'm playing against Old Man Logan, so I can show you the removing special tiles, but right now I can't do that. So let's take a look at some of the funny skills that are able to be used. I guess you could call them a joke code. So first off, let's see, what would be a funny joke code? They might even be random. I'm not sure if they have a set effect. Let's look at 125. 1, 2, 5. Elite mod. Okay, all it seems to have done is changed the text for this skill to elite. You know what would be really useful here? Some good old-fashioned cheat codes. So that's pretty much all it did. Oh, and it gave me additional AP. It gave me back 5 purple AP. So not sure why you would ever want to use that in a real match, but the AI might use it even if you don't want to. So just something to keep in mind. Let's see how random the joke code is. So we previously hit 125 for that elite mode. So let's see if we hit 125 again, if it gives the same joke or something else. Team Pink. Okay, what did that do? Those tiles are totally pink. Who are they even kidding? Anywho, for 9 pink AP, I'll reopen the dev console for you. So this is just another joke. Again, no damage. So it is completely random. You can hit the same code and it'll do the same thing again. So that's interesting. Ah, son of a gun. Okay, her purple skill is currently at 4 covers in this match, so that we can see the difference. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back and destroy a corner. So if you remember last time, the corner damage was a reminder that destroying a corner did 2,976 damage at 5 covers. Also a reminder that it gave me back 5 purple AP. I don't think I actually mentioned that originally. So although it does less damage, it also costs less AP, which is something to consider. For example, if you have an opponent near death, like Deadpool, and destroying a column or a row for that 5,000 or so damage is not worth 9 AP, you can essentially just spend 4 AP to dish out the less damage. So again, that's 2,976, just under 3,000 damage for 4 purple AP. So that's pretty good. It's, not great, but it's pretty good damage. So we're going to destroy a corner again. This time let's do a random corner, which is 356. 356. So the amount of damage is now 17, I think it was 42. That's 1234 less damage from 5 to 4 covers for the corner tile destruction. It returned the same amount of purple AP, 5 AP. So it still only costs 4 AP to use that skill. So So now let's look at destroying or removing a special tile. So we're trying to get rid of the strike tile. Right now there's only one out. So I have 4 covers, so let's see what happens. 4, 7, 8 is for strike tiles, attack tiles is 2, 3, 7, and protect tiles is 6, 8, 9. I'm not sure if there's some way to remove countdown tiles or invisibility tiles yet, but we'll have to see. So right now I'm going to do 4, 7, 8, 4, 7, 8. 361 damage. That also did not return any purple AP. So I guess it's not quite as useful as row or corner destruction or column destruction, unless you really need to get rid of those tiles. I'm not sure how many special tiles it will remove yet. So that's something that people are really going to need to fool around with to figure that out. I am guessing that you'll probably be able to remove more the more covers you get, but it might just be remove all of them, which could be very useful against Old Man Logan, except for the fact that she has such low health. So let's take a look at a couple more variations at 4 covers. Okay, again, we're still at 4 covers, so we're going to try to destroy a row and see how much damage it does. So let's get rid of that pesky, actually let's leave that out for them. Yeah, let's get rid of this charge tile. So we want to get rid of the 6th row. So that would be 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6. 2987. 2987 is a significant reduction. That's over 2,000 less damage. So I really do think that's a huge loss you're getting. Lastly, at 4 covers, we're going to look at other tile destruction for random tiles destroyed. So that's 3, 4, 9 again. 3, 4, 9. Okay, so we're going to see a joke one, that's Struggle. Does minimal damage. I guess it's kind of like the Pokemon Struggle or Flail or whatever. So it's just a joke move. And you can see it gave some AP. We're also going to see, this is now at 3 covers, so we're going to see how much damage is done at 3 covers for destroying a column. As you can tell, it's doing almost no damage. 1657, that's nothing. So there's a huge loss when you're at 3 covers over 4 and 5, especially over 5. It's around 4,000 damage difference. So I think that you'd normally want to have 5 covers in purple. And still at 3 covers, we're also going to look at if you just remove strike tiles. So this actually removes every single strike tile, which to me makes it seem like it doesn't matter how many covers you have, you're just going to remove every strike tile or special tile on the board when you use that move. So doesn't do that much damage, but it's pretty good for removing any number of tiles. And lastly, at 3 covers, we're going to look at destroying random tiles, and it's only 5 tiles being destroyed. So you're destroying 5 tiles and dealing 2,366 damage at 3 covers in purple when you destroy random tiles. So I think we've seen just about everything purple can do, at least for right now, besides giving Gwen a bigger head. But maybe we'll get to see that a little bit later, I don't know. So let's talk about the rest of her skills. Her next skill is a black skill called Plot Armor. Costs 9 black AP. Gotta stay relevant. Being too important to die is the best kind of being. A big ol' explosion should steal the attention from my teammates and do the trick. This much nonsense should be enough to buy me, so at 3 covers, 3 strength 198 projectiles, at 4 covers, 4 strength 215 projectiles, and at 5 covers, 4 strength 342 projectiles. It will also send my allies airborne for a turn. Oops. So this is actually a pretty interesting skill. First off, Gwenpool has very low health, so having these projectiles out is a big lifesaver. At 5 covers, this is probably one of the best projectile creation skills in the game. I mean, 4, that's at 340, that's around 1300 or so projectile strength out. That's going to stop match damage even from a 5-star. So that's a pretty good projectile to be creating. And but like we always talk about in this game, it's all about offense. So on the one hand, the skill at 5 covers is huge. At 3 covers, I mean, you're getting 600 protect, which I guess is still pretty good. But, 9 black AP could be used better elsewhere. So I have very mixed feelings on what you should do with this skill, and I think it really depends on who you play her with and who your opponents are. I think because of the main use of Gwenpool is in PvE, because in PvP her low health combined with a random factor will get her destroyed. I think she's basically a PvE character, and because of that, I think that henchmen are not likely to. You don't really care about projectiles against henchmen usually. So if you're playing against henchmen, you'll have this at 3 covers. If you're playing against AI, like the Dark Avengers, then it might make sense to have her at 5 covers. So, it'll depend on your opponent, because I think her other skills see such huge changes in damage from 3 to 5 covers. So I think that it really depends on your opponent. For green, this is called Deus Ex Machina. So it says it costs 0, but it really doesn't. So basically what happens, it's a passive at first. Somehow I feel like everything's going to work out. Their narrative always provides. In this case, the narrative provides guns. At the start of a battle, a gun tile appears on the board. If this tile is removed by any means, this ability becomes Chuckles Gun. So that creates a green 10 AP ability that deals different damage depending on how many covers you have. And the damage, as we'll see, the damage can be a bit random in who it targets, but the amount seems consistent. Now, Chekhov's gun. So if you recall earlier, we had destroyed his gun, that gun symbol in the match. This is at 5 covers right now. So the description is if I had any training, should do all this damage. So I'll fire 3 shots in the general direction of the enemy team, hitting some or maybe all of them for 4,252 damage per shot. So let's see what actually happens. So she did fire 3 bullets, and it hit one enemy for twice. It hit Thor twice, and it hit Black Bolt once. So it seems like it's random who's getting the damage, but she's definitely firing 3 shots, I guess. So you definitely do the same amount of damage, it seems. I'll have to use this again to verify, but it seems like you definitely do the same amount of damage, and that it's just random who's going to be hit. So if you were to, for example, have just one opponent left, you would actually do 12,000 damage or actually a little bit more than 12,000 damage for 10 green AP after having matched that tile, which I actually think is pretty decent. It's a lot of the AoE skills are kind of useless later on in the match because you're now no longer dishing out, say, 12,000 total damage. You're only dishing out 4,000 damage. But if this skill, assuming it actually hits all 3 times and it doesn't miss if somebody's already downed, then that's a much more useful AoE type skill, although it's a bit less reliable in terms of who you're going to hit. If you're trying to take out a specific opponent, there's no way to tell if they're actually going to get hit. So, yeah. Let's take another look at Chuckles Gun, still at 5 covers. Now that only 2 enemies are out, let's see if all 3 shots are still going off. They all went off and they all hit 1 target that time. At 4 covers, Chuckles Gun will do 3 shots for 2,626 per shot. That's 7876 damage for 10 green AP. And finally, at 3 covers, it's only doing 18 damage per shot. Okay, so we've now gone over all of her skills. We still haven't fully seen 100% of the Sploit's joke codes, mainly the big head version. But we've seen how much damage you can do with all the different row destruction. We've seen how much protect you can get with plot armor, and how you can throw your team into the air, which is helpful for avoiding AoE damage. We've seen how much damage can be dished out at the different cover levels of Deus Ex Machina. So, how would I rate her? I'd rate her really bad in PvP, but incredible in PvE for her ability to target row destruction for so cheap. And her pretty good damage output, assuming the conditions are met for green, as well as her projectile creation. I think that as far as teammates, you really only need to think about who would make a good PvE teammate, which means you could have up to 2 other teammates. If you're trying to play against goons, I think Cyclops, 4-star Cyclops, would be a great teammate, because you've now got additional selected tile destruction from his blue and from his red, and his yellow can speed up either Gwen's tile row destruction or Cyclops' red move. So you've really pretty much got incredible tile destruction capability between the two. For a third teammate, you can bring along Scarlet Witch to help create extra purple. So I don't really think you need to think that much about other teammates for her, just because when you think about it, she's not going to be that useful except in those very select situations where you want to have select row and tile destruction. If you really want to try and make use out of Wasp, you can use Wasp's yellow along with Gwenpool's black to create incredibly powerful strike tiles, since you increase their strength with the yellow from Wasp and all. But overall, I think that there's not that many teammates I would use her with just because she's so specialized. But I think she's a really cool character. I think the artwork's okay. I don't think I would use her in competitive play, but I think that she's just really cool all around. But I would strongly suggest you go to the forum and print out all the codes so you can have them handy to use when you're playing, because otherwise it's going to be ridiculous trying to memorize all the different codes to do exactly what you want. So anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed my video. Let me know if you can think of any other uses or comments to add to the discussion for Gwenpool, and thanks for watching.